So while I was working on my video comparing the two tournament seasons of Ninjago, I came up with an idea for a video that I thought would be super fun. And basically, the idea is to create my dream Ninjago tournament. While I was watching the two tournament seasons, I was like, there's so many fights I would have loved to seen. And I was like, what if I just created my own tournament, like my dream matchup? So that's what we're gonna do today. So I put some rules in place to make it make sense. So let's go through the rules. So the first rule is that the opponents have to be elemental masters. So as much as I'd love to see Cyrus Borg versus Dareth, that wouldn't be fair because they aren't evenly matched. And with elemental powers, all the masters are pretty much equally matched, if you could say that. So most of them would be fair fights. So that's what I want, fair fights. Also, it has to be an elemental master from the current canon. So as much as I love Shade, he isn't the current elemental master of Shade, so I can't pick him. I'd have to pick Obscuria instead. So yeah, that's kind of sad. So maybe not my dream tournament if I can't include Shade, but whatever. Also, it can't be a fight that has already happened in the tournament. Since I went through each season meticulously, I'm pretty well versed on all the fights that have happened. I don't want to repeat anything that has already occurred. So if I forget if the fight has occurred, I'll have to go back and look. So I have created this little tournament bracket that I will fill out. There are 12 fights here, so about 24 opponents that we'll be going through. I picked 12 fights for my Dream Ninjago tournament because when I was looking at the seasons, season 4 had about 9 fights, and then season 2, part 2 of Dragon's Rising had about, I think it was 21 fights? I'm not exactly sure, but it was a lot more. And I was like, what would be my happy medium? And I was like, I think 12 is pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna make 12 matchups here. That would be my dream matchups. And down here, I have all the current elemental masters for the most part. I took this list from the Ninjago wiki, so yeah, I kind of just took pretty much everyone except I didn't include like Wu, Garmadon, and the Overlord because, I don't know, you don't really think of them when you think of elemental masters, right? But other than that, pretty much everyone is here. Yeah, and I didn't include the Forbidden 5 because they're dead. Yeah, so this is what we have to work with here. So we're gonna create my dream tournament right now. So I already thought of 2 fights that I would like to see happen. So we're gonna start with those ones first because I'm pretty confident on these ones. So the first fight that I would really love to see is Kai. Can this go over? I'll just move the square once I have the person, I guess. Kai versus Lloyd. I love these guys' relationship, their brotherly relationship, but I want to see them throw down in a real fight, like a real tournament fight. I think it would be so cool to see them like taunting each other and like using their powers against each other, and I think they would both bring their all in a fight against each other. Yeah, so that is one of my dream fights, to see Kai versus Lloyd. I think it would be so awesome. As for the next fight, I'm gonna go with this one I thought about already too. Zeatrix versus Camille. And I've always really loved Camille. I think she's so epic, and she kind of gives me Zeatrix vibes with like her kind of being a bit shady and stuff. So I think I would really love to see Zeatrix versus Camille. I think Camille would really like piss Zeatrix off with like her form power, and Zeatrix is just so powerful with her shockwave. I think it would be just such an interesting and exciting fight. So that is one that I would freaking love to see. Now for the rest of the fights, I have not thought about it, so this is really gonna be me just going off the moment. But yeah, okay. So for the next fight, I think I would want to see, I think I really want to see Nia versus Zane. Their powers are kind of like, we saw in the ice chapter, their powers are kind of like intertwined, like Nia can control ice sort of. So I think it would be really cool if we could see if she could actually do that again, like fighting against Zane. If Zane used ice, would she be able to actually like manipulate it or whatever? That would be a cool fight. And I think these two are very like friendly, so I think they would be really down for a friendly competition. And yeah, I think it would just be an awesome fight. So I'm gonna go with that. Okay, for the next one. For the next fight, what am I gonna pick? Okay, a power I really want to see in action is Geo's with Fusion, but I don't know who I want to put him up against yet. Oh, you know what would be cool? You know what? Yeah. I want to see Geo versus Karloff. Because if Karloff is using his metal power, imagine the kind of fusion Geo could do with it. Oh my gosh, it'd be so cool. I think one of my favorite things about thinking about the tournament is the combination of powers, especially like watching Dragon's Rising's tournament. Like as they gain more powers, it was so cool to see how each master used the different powers, like Ward using invisibility and zeatrix using all those different powers that she accumulated. It was just so cool, and I think it would just be awesome to see how powers like Geo's and Karloff's would like clash. I think it would be so cool. Okay, so for the next one, who am I gonna go with? So obviously not all of these people are going to be in it because there's like 24, and I think there was like, I forget, I counted it yesterday, but I think there was about like 30. Not, some people are gonna be left out. So for sure I can't do Jay versus Cole because that obviously occurred already, and I can't do Cole versus Frack because that occurred already, or Frack versus Zer, or Sora versus Kizzy, or Wildfire versus Cinder. Oh, you know who I'd love to see? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put this at the top one. Okay, I'm gonna put Griffin Turner, Master of Speed versus Cinder. Okay, just imagine this. Imagine Cinder. We know this boy always pulls out Shatter Spin right away. Imagine Cinder pulls out Shatter Spin and then Griffin Turner can evade him with his speed. That would be cool. I feel like Speed would be the only one that would really stand a chance against Shatter Spin. Like, only one other than the ninja who knows Rising Dragon. Like, that would be so freaking cool. I would love that. I think that would be such an interesting fight. Like, I think if we're gonna put anyone against Cinder, it's gotta be Griffin. That would be so awesome. Okay, so next up, okay, so we can't do Nero versus Bolobo because that happened. And we can't do, actually no, Gravis faced off against Griffin, so we could put Gravis with pretty much anyone. I was gonna do Bubble Girl versus Nia, but then I thought of the Nia and Zane thing, and I like that one better. So I don't know who I'm gonna put Bubble Girl with if I put her with anyone. I forget her name, but she's a month, I think. Who would I like to see here? Okay, I'm thinking about Jay as a rogue. Who would he be cool to face off against? You know what? Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, I just had a wonderful brain idea. That's totally a phrase. I want to see Jay versus Sora. We know Jay, he's an inventor. He created that super cool mech in Dragon's Rising. I think it would be really cool if it was him versus Sora, and if they got to use like tech involved in it, that would be so cool. Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be a great fight. Best idea I've ever had. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 6. So that's half of the tournament done already, and honestly, this is looking pretty good. I would buy tickets to this tournament right away. Obviously, I would because it's my dream in a tournament, but you guys let me know if you would. Okay, so the next one. Let's round this out. Okay, so our prominent players still left. Like our main sort of people are Cole, Skylar, Wildfire, Freja, and Frack. So I'm definitely going to include them because I love them and they need to be in the tournament. But the other ones, I'm not really sure yet. Okay, you know what would be a cool fight? I know I said in my video that I didn't really care for Kizzy's power, but I think this might actually be an interesting fight if we had Kizzy versus Gravis. That might actually be cool. Because Gravis, he's all about the floating and stuff, and like he can just kind of defy, like, you know, if he was in the tightrope fight with Kizzy, like he could just go past the tightrope, right? Like he wouldn't even need the tightrope. But Kizzy, like, yeah, I think balance isn't the most interesting thing to me, but I think this fight would be cool. So yeah. Okay, for the next one. Okay, yeah, Okay, I just had another awesome idea. I'm so smart. Oh my gosh. I am so smart. SMRT. Okay, we're gonna have Skylar versus Nero. I think that would be really cool. Because with Nero's mind power, he can totally like read Skylar's mind and figure out what power she's gonna use next. Like that would be awesome. Like he would just be one step ahead of her and she'd have to kind of like figure out how to get around him. I think Skylar could be able to win that fight because she is a very clever character, but also I think this would give Nero a big advantage. I think it would be an awesome fight. Like she's never had someone know exactly what she's gonna do before, but he would be able to know exactly what she's gonna do. It would be epic. I'm really thinking hard about who I'd want Cole to face off against out of these people. Honestly, you know what I'd love to see? I'd want to see, this is just really for no particular reason other than I just love these two characters. I'd want to see Cole versus Tox. Because Tox and Shade are like my top two elemental masters. So since Shade is not, unfortunately, a part of this one, yeah, I'd want to see Tox go against my favorite ninja, Cole. I think that would be a fun fight just because I love these two so much. But yeah. Okay, so for the next one, I'm trying to think who would Wildfire be really cool against. I think the Bubbles would just be funny if she went against him. You know what would be cool? Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with Wildfire versus Frack. I just think like they're such goofy characters, like the comic relief, and seeing them face off against each other would be really funny. Like I think it would be a great fight. It would be humorous, but also like I think they would both really bring their all to it. So yeah, that would be an awesome fight. I do like Zer's power. It's really cool, but who would he be like? Who would he be the coolest against? Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, I just had an idea. Yeah, I'm gonna put Zer versus Mr. Pale. Yeah, that would be a cool fight. If we had Zer versus Mr. Pale can just turn invisible, and where is Zer gonna know where to go with his reflex? Like, yes, I would love that. That would be such a fun fight. Okay, so my mic decided to friggin' stop right when I was at the last fight, so I'm just gonna friggin' do it without the mic. But yeah, for the last fight, who am I gonna do? I really want Euphrasia to be in it because I love the wind power so much, so I'm gonna put her there for sure. But who do I want to see her against? That would be cool to see Propulsion, like because yeah, that's the guy who goes like that. Yeah, that would be cool, and she would have to kind of like figure it out when. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think that would be a cool fight. So we have Arclark, I don't know how to say his name, versus Euphrasia. So yeah, that's my dream Ninjago tournament. I think pretty much all these fights got me really excited once I came up with them. So if this were ever to happen in some dream fantasy world, I would love to see this. So let's go through it one more time. We have Griffin, Turner versus Cinder. Then we have Kai versus Lloyd. Then we have Zeatrix versus Camille. Then Nia versus Zane. Geo versus Karloff. Jay versus Sora. Kizzy versus Griffin. Skylar versus Nero. Cole versus Hawks. Wildfire versus Frack. Zer versus Mr. Pale. Euphrasia versus Arclark. Yeah, and I don't think any of these ever happened before. I hope not. So yeah, this is awesome. These were the guys I didn't end up using. Sorry, Bolobo. I really thought I was going to use it, but all of these just seem so much fun, so I'd rather see these ones. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what your dream tournament matchups would be in the comments below. Check out my video comparing the Season 4 Tournament of Elements with Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2, the Tournament of Sources. Let me know what you think of both of those seasons. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like this video. Bye!